gonna stay here and I'm gonna defend my house.
Today on the Morning Edition, cleanup at Davis Park enters day 3, digging into a mess that in some cases has been years in the making. An update on how cleanup is going and how the city is dealing with some returning campers.
Plus, the education funding battle continues. A nonprofit is planning to sue the state of Alaska over what they claim are constitutional.
Starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up and joining us here on a lovely Thursday.
Yeah, that is a cool find there, but not something you want to necessarily come across.
No,
right?
not at all. Well, let's get a check of weather. Do have some sunshine, and today looks to be pretty nice.
Yeah, today may be the day that we officially climb 270 degrees in Anchorage. Now, we have seen that for Midtown. We've seen that for East Anchorage. But as far as West Anchorage, we have yet to officially hit that 70-degree mark. We're at 53 degrees, not expecting that marine layer this morning. In fact, many areas across South Central holding on to sunshine, and that will stick around through the rest of today. We're waking up, though, those temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. The only exception, Cordova, which is already warming into the lower 60s. We're still holding on to some hazy skies. Areas of the Susitna Valley, just north of Talkeetna, still holding on to the potential for some drizzle as some of those thunderstorm activity from yesterday continues to kind of taper off across the region. But we're really in store for a gorgeous afternoon across South Central. Going with a high of 71 degrees today. Yes, those hazy skies still remaining with us. We're going to stay on the dry side outside of some of those isolated thunderstorms into the evening hours. And of course, the better potential for that will be out towards the foothills of the Talkeetna Mountains and then areas nestled up against the Alaska range. But of course, we continue to chase that first 70-degree reading, which we typically hit right around June 6th. Now, the latest on record is July 25th. You notice the last couple of years, we either hit it late May or right around the middle of June. And it does look like the potential for this year is going to be right around either today or tomorrow where we're going to hit that 70-degree reading. So we'll certainly be watching for that. You notice those thunderstorm activity we did see through parts of the valley through the overnight hours, but we are waking up this morning to a lot quieter conditions across South Central. Thunderstorm activity continues to die down across the state, but more storms look likely throughout the day. I'll have more on that in that 7-day forecast for you coming up.
In this morning's top story, a nonprofit plans to sue over Governor Mike Dunleavy's education funding veto.
This comes nearly 1 week after the governor slashed almost $51 million, leaving leaders for districts across the state to make what they've described as unexpected dire cuts. The lawsuit is being filed by the Coalition for Education Equity of Alaska, and the executive director, Caroline Storm, says the time frame will be soon. She says they plan to argue the governor's education veto violates Alaska's Constitution.
Storm tells Alaska's news source the Constitution and previous court rulings lay out her argument, saying the Constitution says the legislature will establish and maintain a system of public schools open to all children of the state. In light of the veto, Storm said the maintenance of schools is not adequate.
Lawsuits take time. But without the pressure of a lawsuit, I honestly feel like there are too many legislators and the governor who are not willing to do their job and come up with a fiscal plan to pay for an adequate public education system.
The governor's veto is actually a cut in funding from what was funded last year. So I think there's a very strong legal argument to be made that we're not meeting our constitutional obligation to maintain establish and maintain a system of education because we're not funding it.
There's a lot of uncertainty about what's next. Lawmakers can't take this on until they're back in session. That's 7 months from now in January. That's because the governor also vetoed money for a special session. A spokesperson for the Attorney General's office said they have not received word of a lawsuit. Well, this morning, a much calmer scene at Davis Park, but cleanup continues as we enter day 3 of the Muni's efforts to clear years of debris from what was the city's largest homeless camp.
Lauren Maxwell went out there again Wednesday for an update on how cleanup is going.
Fires.
Up and over, people!
protests.
Doesn't make us equal!
And people who didn't want to leave.
We'll stay here and I'm going to defend my house.
This was the frightening scene Tuesday on abatement day at Davis Park and the snow dump next door. Just a day later, most of the chaos had turned to calm. By mid-morning Wednesday, there were no signs of campers, just the things they'd left behind. The city says 25 people who were at the camp on Tuesday went into shelter or housing. 2 went into detox. It's not clear how many simply left. The entrance to the park that was once packed with tents and broken vehicles is clear. In the woods, it's a different story. Workers are removing years' worth of debris, including structures torched in Tuesday's fires. Overnight, police had extra patrols in the neighborhood to try and keep campers from coming back. Turns out, some of the now former residents did try to return. Police tell us when they arrived this morning at the park, they found about 10 people camping here between the park and the snow dump next door. They asked them to leave, and they did. The plan now is to take down the remaining tents and structures so it isn't so inviting for people to come back. The cleanup at Davis is supposed to take 2 weeks, according to the municipality. People aren't allowed to be in the park until it's done, although we saw a few wander by. The hope is that once cleaned, this park will once again be a welcoming place where the community will want to return. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Mayor Suzanne LaFrance says she's heard growing frustration over the giant hole left at 4th Avenue and J Street after the 2022 demolition of the 4th Avenue Theater. Her office met with developer Peach Investments this week, who promised to fill the pit this construction season. City leaders say they're holding regular meetings to keep the project moving. Alaska's largest fire of the season so far has reached more than 1,700 acres, but firefighters are making progress. The Alaska Division of Forestry reports the Oskawalik fire is now 15% contained. The DOF credits the 91 personnel working along the perimeter. Crews are continuing efforts to limit the spread to the north, protecting native allotments, and also to the west, with ground crews closely coordinating. And taking a live look now at that Alaska Wildland Fire dashboard. In the past 24 hours, there have been 24 new fires. There are currently 81 fires across the state. 14 of them are staffed, and so far, it's estimated more than 15,000 acres have burned.
A woman was found dead after a raft overturned on the Chattanooga River Tuesday. Alaska State Troopers received a call from a woman who was rafting with 67-year-old Joy Maple about 40 miles north of Fairbanks after their raft overturned. The caller made it to shore but saw Maple get trapped along the bank in a set of branches. When troopers arrived, Maple was found dead in the river. The state medical examiner will determine the cause of death.
We're in the season of being out on the water, and that means safety should be top of mind when making summer plans. Multiple deaths have already been reported on Alaska's waters this year. Olivia Nordyke spoke with experts about how to stay safe when heading out into the water.
This week, 67-year-old Joy Maple lost her life while rafting in Fairbanks. State troopers say she wasn't wearing a life jacket during the incident that caused her raft to overturn. Alaska State Trooper Brian LeMay out of Fairbanks says regardless of the watercraft, a life jacket is almost always necessary.
Anytime you're recreating on the water, if you're on any sort of vessel, which is anything except for an inner tube or a pool toy, you need to have a life jacket on board that vessel.
He adds that situational awareness is key.
We strongly recommend, especially on our rivers, that you are wearing that life jacket because if anything happens, it's going to happen quickly and stuff is going to get separated very quickly.
The statewide Kids Don't Float program, which provides education and loaner life jackets to Alaska's youth, works to foster some of that situational awareness, both of which might be more necessary for Anchorage swimmers in summer 2025 as the municipality struggles to fill lifeguard positions for public lakes. But problems can arise anyway, which is why LeMay says communication by satellite and telling others what your plans are and when you'll be back are part of the safety equation too. Should something happen, LeMay says to stay put.
It's a lot easier for us if we know you're going to be overdue, or if we know that you're going to have a report that you're overdue. Stay put. It's a lot easier for us to find you when you're with a raft or a boat than it is to find a single person walking through the woods.
Olivia Nordyke, Alaska's news source.
Now, Olivia mentioned Anchorage's current lack of lifeguards at public lakes over the summer. We heard from municipal employees who had even more safety advice, and you can find that on our website.
A scary sight for cruise ship passengers in Juneau as their massive ship broke loose from the dock during a severe thunderstorm. A Royal Caribbean Group spokesperson confirmed the 1,004-foot-long ship Celebrity Edge drifted from the pier during a sudden wind squall, with wind gusts hitting 60 miles per hour. Royal Caribbean says the captain was able to safely return it to the dock. The Coast Guard is investigating. Coming up, 100 holes, one day as Anchorage nears the longest day of the year. A group of about a dozen golfers set out to drive, chip, and putt their way through 100 holes, all for a good cause.
And a South Central summer staple might not make an appearance for this year's 4th of July holiday. Why Guerrilla Fireworks is saying it might not be able to open.
We're closing in on the longest day of the year, and heat continues across the state. We've got more on what to expect through the close of this week. But first at sunrise, 4:20 in Anchorage, 3:51 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
A new mural is bringing a bit more color to Anchorage's downtown scene. You'll find the giant painting on 6th Avenue and D Street.
Creator and local artist Rhonda Scott says about 70 volunteers got together on Father's Day weekend to help paint it. On Wednesday, the Easy Park maintenance crew began installing 36 panels, a total of 1,200 square feet.
I love Alaska. I love Alaskan flowers, and there's a mural on each side. This one will have Sleeping Lady with all of the Alaskan flowers, and this one is just flat top and the Chugach Mountain Range.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I actually passed down it yesterday. It looks very nice, right, of course, ahead of summer solstice too, Aaron.
Yeah, and brightening up downtown Anchorage. And if you'd like some of that summertime warmth, we will see those temperatures today likely climbing into the 70s as heat continues to expand across the state. Yes, we're still dealing with some fire danger. Those flood warnings continue for areas along the slope. That flood watch, though, has been allowed to expire. And, of course, we are continuing to watch some of those heat conditions, particularly out towards southeast, where we do have a brand new heat advisory that was issued out towards parts of the Haynes Highway. If summer officially begins tomorrow, it will be our longest day of the year, and we certainly have been holding on to some of this warm stretch of weather the past about week and a half, and you can really see the significant change in our weather pattern. This is the departure from normal for Fairbanks. Notice the first half of June was just a bit on the cooler side compared to what we typically see. We saw the latest first 70-degree reading on record. Once we hit that 70-degree reading, temperatures have been ramping up into the 80s. Even with those temperatures being on the warm side the past week and a half, the average temperature for June is sitting at about a degree below where we typically see for this month. 38 degrees currently in Utqiagvik, 47 in Nome, 51 in Northway. So that ridge still influencing plenty of sunshine across the state, but we've got that blocking pattern out towards the Aleutians. That's keeping cloud coverage, cooler weather, winds, as well as some rain in the forecast. And while we are still holding on to some showers for southeast, that will come to an end into tomorrow. And then we will see drier, sunnier, and warmer conditions into the weekend. But continuing to see these warm conditions staying with us across the state, really favoring areas of the interior and the eastern interior where we're going to see those temperatures breaking back into the 80s. Notice this cooler stretch of weather out towards the Aleutians. This is another area of low pressure that's going to be building into the Bering later this weekend. That's also going to drive some cooler conditions back across the state as we welcome in next week. Until that arrives, though, we're going to continue to hold on to some daily thunderstorm activity. Tuesday looked to be the most active day when it came to our thunderstorm. We did see about 15,000 strikes Tuesday. Today, we are going to see additional thunderstorm development, not as widespread as what we have been dealing with, but we'll still see some of that thunderstorm activity across parts of the interior out towards the eastern Brooks Range as we welcome in parts of the weekend, but expected to see many areas across the state staying on the drier side. But notice by next week, we're beginning to see increasing cloud coverage out towards southwest Alaska and here in south central. That's going to pave the way for the return to some cloud coverage and cooler conditions. So we're in the 80s with some thunderstorm activity carrying us through at least Saturday. Dry for your Sunday for Fairbanks, and then those temperatures do cool off back into the mid-70s as we welcome in next week. So cooler weather will build back in across the state. Not any significant cool snap, but we are going to see a reprieve from some of this heat, particularly for areas of the interior. You'll see you make it into 83 in Fairbanks today, 65 in Juneau, 63 degrees in Dillingham, still holding on to those widespread rain showers out towards towards the Aleutians. That 7-day forecast here in South Central. We're sitting at 70 today, or 71, 67 Friday with the official start of summer solstice. And then into next week, we're also going to see a bit of cloud coverage increase with those temperatures on the cooler side as we drop back into the lower 60s.
Well, what's the 4th of July without fireworks? A safer summer, according to the Houston Fire Department, who says conditions might still just be too dry to allow the sparkling spectacle. Well, that's why guerrilla fireworks may miss this year's holiday. The Houston Fire Department is still weighing fire risk as South Central remains dry. The owner is waiting on a green light to open, but it may not come in time. Houston Fire Chief Christian Hartley says if the stand opens for holiday sales, there will be firefighters at the facility to answer questions from the public.
We try to give all the information to all the people that we can. And it's in partnership with the stands. They want that education to be out there because they want people to be using the fireworks safely.
I mean, it's kind of plan for the best and hope for the best, and when it'll be what it'll be. So we're getting ready for as business as usual, and then hope it all comes together.
Personal fireworks are illegal in many other parts of the state, so be sure to check your local laws. And reminder to those in Anchorage, personal fireworks are always illegal within city limits. An ambitious group of golfers took to the green at Fox Hollow Golf Course Wednesday, but it wasn't just for leisure.
Joe Allgood tells us that while they had a great time, they also raised money for a great cause.
18 holes of golf is challenging enough as it is. But what about 100? That's exactly what about a dozen Anchorage golfers teed up for on Wednesday. Whether crushed down the middle or shanked to the side, each swing was a hole-in-one for a good cause.
Everybody hears about a way to raise funds while golfing. Everybody's donated generous amounts. It's been amazing.
All the green raised on and off the green is going to a local charity, Adventure for Ava.
A charity that I've grown to love, and the people that are involved in it are so awesome.
The organization was created by Reading's friends, Dan and Kristen Redfield, who lost their daughter Ava to a rare genetic disorder.
It made it really difficult, especially as she grew, to find ways that you could get outside. And so that just became kind of a mission of ours.
A filmmaker by trade, Ava's dad, Dan, documented every moment and then created Adventure for Ava to do the same for others.
We serve families with special needs, and we take them out on a suitable and safe adventure. We capture their experience outside, and then we deliver a short film and photos to the family.
After 6 years, dozens of families have documented memories to cherish and share.
It's nice to just take a time out. Let's break the mold for a day. Let's forget about therapies. Let's forget about maintaining the status quo, and let's just do something different, something as a family. Have a reminder of why you work so hard.
And each adventure doesn't cost the families a dime. So fundraisers like the 100-hole hike go a lot further than the fairway.
If there's a way you can give back to the community that might not have that same luxury, or people that struggle, if you can give back, it's a way that will bless so many people, and at the end of the day, it's going to make you feel amazing more than anything else.
Even if it takes a bit of Advil the next day.
Maybe have some salt bath or something, but then I'll be back to the grind because it's the game that I love, and I've just loved that I've found a way that I can give back using this game.
The group of golfers set out to raise $20,000 on Wednesday and said they were collecting donations right up until the last hole. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically, and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.